You were only 6 years old when two shadowy figures appeared outside your mosquito net in the middle of the night, silently pointing at you as if they had come to take you away. Years later, your mother would die after offering her life in exchange for yours. A black cat will begin circling her body before her final breath, and a mysterious curse would turn your world into a nightmare filled with spirits, dark rituals, and terrifying visions. What started as a childhood haunting would unravel into a chilling story of wandering souls, forbidden blood charms, and a family haunted by forces no one could explain. You grow up in a rural area where an enormous water spinach pond stretches behind your house. The adults often whisper stories about the place. Long before it became a pond, it was nothing more than a massive pit. During the war, countless soldiers who died in battle were thrown into that pit without proper burials. Their bodies remained there. As the years passed, water filled the hole and thick patches of water spinach covered the surface, hiding what rested beneath. But according to the elders, the spirits never left. At the time, you're only 6 or 7 years old, but you're old enough to understand some of the stories. One night, you sleep as usual between your mother and your older brother. Your mother lies in the middle while you and your brother sleep on either side of her. Everything feels normal until deep in the night, while sleeping, you suddenly feel something poking your ribs. Again and again, it's like someone is deliberately tickling you. Half asleep and annoyed, you wave your hand around, trying to push the invisible fingers away, but the poking continues. You assume it's your brother trying to wake you up. Still groggy, you mutter angrily and finally open your eyes. "Stop it, let me sleep." You turn toward where your brother is supposed to be, but your words freeze in your throat. Your brother is asleep. Your mother is asleep too. Outside, the sky is still completely dark. You can even hear your father snoring loudly from the front room. It's the middle of the night. Then a strange feeling makes you glance toward the mosquito net opening. And that's when you see them, two black figures, standing silently outside the net, watching. Their bodies are nothing but shadows. No faces, no features, just darkness. Both figures slowly raise their arms and point directly at you. The gesture feels unmistakable. They want you. They've come for you. Terror explodes through your body. You scream. Your mother immediately wakes up and grabs you, crying uncontrollably. You cling to her until morning. The next day, you tell your father everything. Concerned, he asks a spiritual practitioner to come inspect the house. After that, the two shadow figures never appear again, but the fear never truly leaves. As you grow older, strange things continue happening. Every time you walk into the kitchen, goosebumps cover your skin. An icy chill crawls up your spine. You never understand why. The feeling is strongest at night. Even going to the bathroom becomes uncomfortable. At first, you leave the bathroom door open because everyone is asleep and there seems to be no reason to close it. But eventually, you start locking it every time because you constantly feel like someone is standing outside, watching, waiting. One day, you ask an aunt who is known for spiritual practices and fortune-telling. After listening carefully, she tells you something unsettling. There are two spirits living in your kitchen. You stare at her. She continues calmly. They don't cause trouble because nobody has disturbed them. Just offer them food on full moon days, and they'll leave your family alone. Then her expression changes. She becomes serious. However, this year, your family will have a funeral. Fear instantly grips your heart. You assume she means your grandmother. After all, she's the oldest person in the family. But your aunt shakes her head. She says nothing more. Not long afterward, your mother suddenly becomes ill. The diagnosis is devastating. Terminal liver cancer, 2 malignant tumors. Doctors tell your family there's almost no hope. But something even stranger happened before her diagnosis. 1 week before the doctors discovered the cancer, you, your mother, and your brother all had dreams involving the same person, an elderly neighbor everyone called Mrs. B. When she was alive, Mrs. B hated your mother. Nobody knew why. Her house stood right beside yours. Whenever your family raised a wall, she somehow made sure her window sat even higher so she could continue looking into your home. She constantly watched, constantly spied, constantly interfered. She had already been dead for years. Then one night, all 3 of you dreamed of her. The details varied slightly, but the message remained the same. Mrs. B had become something terrible, a demon. Her face was long and green. Several sharp fangs protruded from her mouth. In your mother's dream, the demon came flying toward your family. First, it tried to take your older brother. Your mother pulled him away. Then it lunged toward you. Again, your mother shielded you. Desperate, she dropped to her knees and begged. She pleaded for the creature to spare you. Finally, she offered a bargain. Take me instead. The demon accepted. Your mother woke up in terror. Exactly 1 month later, doctors diagnosed her with terminal cancer. And from that moment, your family's nightmare truly began. After the diagnosis, your father refuses to give up. He invites a spiritual healer to treat your mother. Surprisingly, the treatment seems to work. When the doctors examine her again, they're shocked. The 2 tumors appear to have disappeared. Hope returns to your family. It's the 25th day of the lunar month when the healer makes a strange prediction. If she survives until the 27th, she'll live a long life. But if she can't hold on until then, she will die. Then he reveals his plan. For 2 days, from the 25th to the 27th, he will bring another wandering soul into your mother's body so her spirit can rest and stop suffering. On the 27th, he will return your mother's soul to her body and remove the temporary spirit. During those 2 days, your mother can barely eat. The family feeds her tiny drops of ginseng water just to keep her alive. That night, the moon is bright and the air is calm. You cook a small bowl of thin porridge for your mother. Normally she eats very little, but tonight she suddenly asks for food. I want to eat until I'm full. She finishes the bowl, closes her eyes, and says nothing else. You ask if she wants water. She shakes her head. You ask if she's cold. She nods. You ask if she wants to sleep. She nods once more. Then she falls asleep. Around 8 p.m., thunder suddenly rolls across the sky, and rain begins pouring down. You and your brother take turns watching over her. Eventually, you drift into a strange dream. You see your mother sitting in a chair while you stand near the doorway. I miss the neighbor's little boy. She says, I want to go visit him. You immediately protest. You're sick. You can't go anywhere. Before you finish speaking, she slowly rises into the air. You grab for her legs. You try to hold her down, but she keeps floating higher and higher. You run after her, reach for her, beg her to come back, but your hands never touch her. Suddenly, You hear your brother shouting. You wake up. It's 3 a.m. From that moment until dawn, you don't sleep again. And when you look at your mother, something is terribly wrong. She lies completely still. Her eyes are wide open. Wherever you move, her eyes follow. Left, right, closer, farther, always watching. When you wipe her face with a towel, she growls softly. Not like your mother, like an animal. You tell your brother. He thinks you're imagining things. Then he wipes her face himself. She growls at him too. Terrified, you call the healer. He explains calmly. Another spirit is inside her body right now. Your mother's soul is being kept elsewhere until the 27th. His explanation should comfort you. It doesn't. On the 27th, the healer arrives to perform the final ritual. Your mother loves cats, and your house has 2 of them. One is black with a white patch on its chest. The other is calico. For some reason, your father insists on moving your mother into bedroom because a new air conditioner was installed there. You beg him to wait for the healer. He refuses. As he lifts her, her arm slips from his grasp. Her body falls. Her hip fractures. Now she can barely breathe. At that exact moment, the healer walks in. He takes one look at the scene and slowly shakes his head. Your father still believes she will recover, but deep down, you know she won't. Then the black cat begins circling your mother over and over, meowing in a low, eerie voice. Today, your mother's eyes still follow you, but this time they feel different. Not hostile, not cruel. These feel like your real mother's eyes. Her body starts leaking a strange fluid. Her breathing becomes wet and rattling, as if water is trapped in her lungs. Your brother steps into the room. Your mother looks at him once and stops breathing. She dies that day, during the mourning period. She often appears in your dreams. Then the black cat gives birth. One of the placentas remains in the house, and your father decides to keep it because people believe it brings luck. But the cats eat it before he can save it. Months pass. Your father eventually meets another woman. He brings her into your home, and your mother begins appearing in your dreams again. That woman is not good. She warns, be careful. At first, you don't believe it, but soon your father starts losing money. Debts pile up. Eventually, he's forced to sell the house. The woman moves with you to the new place. She has a teenage daughter from a previous relationship, but the girl lives away at boarding school and only comes home on weekends. You and your brother can't stand the woman. Most nights, you avoid the house until late. One day, you're sick and stay home. At lunchtime, you go downstairs for food. The moment the woman sees you, she looks startled, almost frightened. After that meal, something changes. You become constantly hungry, constantly sleepy. At night, you hear footsteps running across the roof. Sometimes you turn toward your wardrobe and see a small child sitting on top of it, hugging your teddy bear and swinging its legs. It smiles at you, wide, silent. You pull the blanket over your head, pray, and force yourself to sleep. A friend notices how pale you become. She takes you to a famous spiritual master in another district. The moment you arrive, he already knows why you're there. At first, he refuses to help because you're asking about your father, not yourself. But after you return a few days later, exhausted and terrified, he agrees to see you. Before your turn, he makes you sit and watch the other cases. and what you witness is unforgettable. A young woman possessed by a Thai love curse writhes on the floor while the master tries to drive the spirit out. Suddenly, a 10-year-old girl accidentally runs into the room. The spirit leaps into the child. The girl collapses, twists violently, and screams. You rush forward, terrified she'll bite her tongue. The master sprays blessed liquor into her face. Seconds later, she wakes up with no memory of what happened. Watching all of this, you realize the world is far stranger than you ever imagined. Then the master calls your name, and he's about to reveal the truth about your family, your mother's death, and the curse that has been following you all these years. Finally, the spiritual master calls you forward. You sit down nervously. Before you can explain anything, he asks for your birth year and your brother's. After hearing the information, his expression immediately changes. He stares at you for several seconds. Then he says something that sends chills through your entire body. The one who was supposed to die wasn't your mother. You freeze. The room suddenly feels colder. The master continues. It was your father. Your heart pounds. He explains that your mother had accumulated a great deal of spiritual merit throughout her life. According to what he sees, she should have lived well into her 80s. But somehow, she died much earlier. And the reason was simple. She sacrificed herself, just like in the dream. The terrifying dream where she begged the demon to spare her children and take her instead. According to the master, your father possessed a stronger destiny, a higher life force. When death came looking for him, your mother became the substitute. She died in his place. Tears began rolling down your face. Even after death, your mother had continued protecting the family. Then the master shifts his attention back to you. His eyes narrow. Your problem is different. You sit silently. Someone has already worked a curse on you. The words hit you like a hammer. Suddenly, all the strange events start making sense. The footsteps, the child on top of the wardrobe, the shadows, the nightmares, the constant exhaustion. The master explains that the purpose of the curse isn't necessarily to kill you. Instead, it weakens your spirit and opens your senses to the world of the dead. That's why you constantly see things ordinary people can't. Spirits, ghosts, dark entities. You ask who did it. The master doesn't answer directly, but he gives you enough clues. And immediately, one person comes to mind. Your stepmother. She originally comes from Quang Tri, a region known for countless stories involving folk magic and spiritual rituals. You remember all the strange changes that began after she entered your life. The master continues. You're actually carrying masculine spiritual energy. You blink in confusion. He explains that despite being born female, your spiritual nature resembles that of a man. Because of this, male spirits, especially the spirits of dead soldiers, are often attracted to you. This influence affects your personality. It affects your emotions, even your relationships. According to him, you spent much of your life attracting female energy while struggling romantically because your spiritual balance is unusual. The explanation sounds impossible, yet somehow it fits. Then the master performs a ritual. Afterward, everything changes. The nightmares stop. The child disappears. The footsteps vanish. The shadows no longer follow you. For the first time in years, you sleep peacefully. Your health improves. Color returns to your face. Eventually, you get married and have children of your own. Life finally seems normal. But one problem remains. Your father. The master insists that your father visit him. He's not free from the curse. But your father refuses. No matter how much you beg, he won't go. Deep down, you know why. He's completely under your stepmother's influence. Whatever she says, he obeys, no matter how unreasonable it is. Desperate to help him, you start searching for ways to break curses. You hear countless stories from different people. Most sound ridiculous, but one story keeps appearing over and over again. A powerful counter-charm involving the first menstrual blood of a virgin girl. You don't know whether it's true. You don't even know whether it makes sense. But you're desperate. Around that time, you visit your grandmother's house. There, you see your younger cousin. She's just experienced her first menstrual cycle. An uncomfortable idea forms in your mind. You ask for her help. After obtaining a small amount, you seal it inside cotton. Wrap it carefully in plastic, then cover with multiple layers of red paper. When finished, it resembles a small temple blessing, a lucky charm. Your father would never accept it if he knew what it really was. So you create a different story. You tell your grandmother to say it came from a temple, a sacred blessing, a protective charm. She agrees. Your father places it inside his wallet, and then something unexpected happens. Gradually, he begins changing. The influence your stepmother once had over him weakens. He stops obeying her blindly. He becomes more independent, more clear-minded. He starts recognizing the mistakes she'd push him into making. Even you can't explain it. Maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was coincidence. But the timing is impossible to ignore. As for yourself, the curse may have been removed, but your spiritual sensitivity never completely disappears. Even now, strange experiences still happen occasionally. One evening, a friend invites you over for dinner. After eating, her family leaves briefly and asks you to watch the house. It's only a little after 6 in the evening. The sun hasn't completely disappeared yet, but the moment you're alone, that familiar sensation returns. A cold shiver runs up your spine. Someone is watching you. Slowly you turn around. Standing inside the house is a dark figure. Motionless, watching. Fear explodes inside you. You run upstairs into your friend's bedroom. There's a statue of Guan Yin there. You convince yourself no spirit would dare enter such a room. Then you hear footsteps coming upstairs. Following you, the figure is still there. You hide beneath the blanket and begin praying. Hours later, your friend finally returns. You tell her everything. She laughs. Ghosts aren't real. The words barely leave her mouth. Crash! Plates and dishes suddenly explode into noise downstairs. It sounds like someone is throwing things around the kitchen. Both of you stare at each other. Neither of you wants to move. Then together, you run downstairs. As you race through the house, you can't stop looking behind you, because the dark figure is running after both of you. When you return home that night, the nightmare continues. While sleeping, you suddenly wake up. A crushing weight presses against your chest. You can't move. You can't scream. You can't even turn your head. Something is standing over you, watching, holding you down. The paralysis lasts until morning. The next day, your friend calls. Her voice trembles. After she returned home the previous night, both of her parents were attacked. An unseen force had tried to choke them. Terrified, they immediately called a spiritual master. The master performs rituals throughout the house. Then he reveals something shocking. Beneath the staircase lies human remains, an unidentified skeleton. The spirit had never wanted to hurt anyone. It simply wanted its family to know where it was buried. Proper ceremonies are eventually performed. An altar is established. The spirit finally finds peace. You visit the house afterward. Standing before the altar, you quietly pray, "Please don't follow me anymore." After that day, the dark figure never returns. Not to your friend's house, not to your dreams, not to your bedroom. And although you survive encounters with wandering soldiers, shadow people, curses, possessions, prophetic dreams, and spirits of the dead, the memory that haunts you most isn't any ghost. It isn't any demon. It isn't any curse. It's the image of your mother, a mother who willingly gave up her own life so that you could keep yours.